Well, the question is often asked, why does the School of Theology take faculty and seminarians to South Africa each year? We as Episcopalians are part of a global church, and often when we study and teach in our own local context, we can get a bit too narrow and only think that we've got the whole church wrapped up in our own little backyard. And what we need to understand is that we're only a small piece of the larger church, Catholic, broader than Roman Catholicism, Eastern Orthodoxy, or Protestantism. But for Episcopalians to understand our Anglican identity further, we really need to have global Anglican exchanges, and those are invariably should be cross-cultural. So we get to encounter poverty, grinding third world poverty, the challenges of disease, particularly the major killers in the world today, still sadly, tuberculosis, malaria, and particularly in southern Africa, this pandemic of HIV and AIDS. We get to see there how the church responds to these illnesses, particularly HIV, AIDS, in medical care, in pastoral care, and in care for the most vulnerable victims, women and children.
The mission trip to South Africa for me was really about seeing the larger church at work in the world. Wherever we went, whoever we met, there was Christ at work in the world.
The mission trip for me was a special time, a time when I challenged myself to go to a new place, a place I didn't understand. South Africa was everything to me, a place of great tragedy, great triumph. It was a place where the technology was equal to the United States, yet poverty was at its much worse. I began to understand the global mission of the church there. The Anglican Communion truly came together there. And it brought me a whole new perspective into what the world is and what the world could be. In the United States, we take for granted, especially for me, my majority status. I never have understood what it's like to be a minority. Except when I went to South Africa and I had the opportunity to feel as a minority. That was a great opportunity. A great opportunity to understand what the minority people in this country feel every day.
I've always wanted to go to Africa, just to see the continent. I think my whole life, if you asked me where I wanted to go, it wasn't these glamorous places. That's where I wanted to visit, and I was so blessed to get to go. What I found was a very beautiful place with very beautiful people, and I didn't know what to expect. I really had no expectations going into it, but I had a phenomenal 3 weeks. There's a real soul and a spirit to the place, and it gets inside of you, and I don't think it leaves you. So I have wonderful memories, and I've made wonderful friends that I still love to hear from today, and I hope I do for a long time.
First, I have to admit that when I went on the trip, I wasn't exactly sure what God had planned for me and where He was going to take me with the whole trip and the journey of going to South Africa. I was pleasantly surprised by how welcoming and loving the people were. I felt like they were very warm and friendly and really interested in learning about us.
Our first stop was in Grahamstown, and we spent some time there with some monks at their monastery. We got just a little taste of what their prayer life is like, and that was really interesting.
The beauty of the countryside was unbelievable. I was unprepared for, I knew it would be wide open and that the spaces would be vast, but I had no idea the diversity of how different it looked, from the mountains to the countryside where it was very almost prairie-like with miles and miles for as far as you can see.
We spend about a week with the students of Grahamstown. We sit in on classes, we get to meet students and faculty, learning what's similar about our experiences in theological education. Faculty there on both sides of the desk, if you will. But much more than just the classroom and social experiences, to understand their context a little bit better of being a church in South Africa.
We met students, faculty, and staff at the College of the Transfiguration there in Grahamstown. We listened to their stories. While we were at the College of the Transfiguration, we sat in at an Old Testament class and we listened to a few of the student presentations. And it was really interesting to see, okay, here we are, almost halfway around the world, learning the same information about textual criticism and not just history, but ways of understanding it, approaching it, analyzing it, that we had learned here at home. And that was really neat to see these students trying to work together and come up with a presentation to present all that information. And I thought we had it hard here with all of our assignments and so forth. They have to do everything that we do, learn English, and then try to get along with all of these other students in a variety of languages. That was pretty amazing to watch that.
I think one of my favorite parts of the trip was the opportunity to meet students from the College of the Transfiguration. One of my, favorite memories was talking to a young woman from the Kingdom of Swaziland, and it happened to be on what we celebrate as Father's Day here in the United States. And she was telling me all about her life growing up in a polygamous society, and with a father that she really had no relationship with. He was, she didn't talk to him in the way that I would talk to my father. She couldn't even look him in the eye, and she never touched him, never hugged him or anything like that. And so I was learning about her life growing up. She's about my age, and it couldn't have been more different. And meanwhile, I was thinking in my head how I needed to call my father back at home, and what a different relationship I have with him from what she grew up with. So that was one of my favorite moments.
Really heartening